They gain a bunch of life here. But they have to block the 7/7. They can't block the Conclave Apparition. Yep. We still hit for 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So that's just lethal. Good game. Let's take it to the sideboard, and we're looking to beat this mono-white prison deck. Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks for taking the time to watch Hello Good Game. Today we have a 100% win rate deck, Abzan Counters by Quintino Brewer, who reached top Mythic rank number 15 with this deck. And of course, I'm playing it in Diamond, again, going 3-0 in traditional standard, winning 6 matches, absolutely wrecking the current meta. Abzan refers to the color combination of white, black, and green, and counters refer to the +1/+1s that are put on your creatures. As always, we're breaking down the deck list in its entirety, talking about each individual card, the strengths, the weaknesses, why they were chosen to be included in the deck. Next, we'll visit the strategies and synergies, what's our overall game plan, and the steps that we're going to take to get there. Then we'll watch some gameplay footage breaking down all the playlines and interactions, showcasing how this deck is going to engage with the rest of the metagame and really dominate it at that. It's great to know how your deck operates, but it's even better to know how it's going to operate against the rest of the metagame. Finally, we have my closing thoughts. So if you find any value within this video, go ahead, give me a thumbs up, share it out to a friend. Let's get right into it. Abzan Counters starts out with 1 copy of Bloodchief's Thirst. This is a very powerful uncommon from the new set, Zendikar Rising. Kicker for 3, so total for 4. Destroy target creature with Planeswalker or Planeswalker with converted mana cost 2 or less. If it was kicked, instead destroy any creature or Planeswalker. Wow, this is absolutely amazing. This is like a shock, but it can, kill things with an increased cost later on. Absolutely amazing. I cannot get over Bloodchief's Thirst. Swarm Shambler, 4 copies of this. This is one of our engines within the deck. It's a 0/0, but it enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it. That's the key word within the deck, so let's pay attention to that. Whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it becomes the target of a spell an opponent controls, create a 1/1 green inside creature token. So, a lot of our creatures here within the deck will have the +1/+1s on them. So when we have the Shambler in play and something gets targeted, then it will create a 1/1 insect, which is great for us. 4 copies of Stonecoil Serpent. This is our next card. It's a 0/0 with reach and trample, protection from multicolored. It enters the battlefield with an 1/1 counter on it for each mana spent to cast it. So it is a scaling spell with X. You can cast it for 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 10. You can cast it for 0, but it will die on entry into the battlefield. So do be aware of that if you're a beginner to Magic the Gathering. Into our 2 drops, we have 4 copies of Conclave Mentor. This is a 2/2 and another one of the engines that the deck really relies and leans upon. If 1 or more +1/+1 counters would be put on a creature you control, put that many +1/+1 counters on that creature +1 instead. So, you're getting that additional +1/+1 counter every time you are engaging with the +1/+1 counters, which is nice. And of course, whenever Conclave Mentor dies, you gain life equal to its power. 3 copies of Scavenging Ooze, another 2/2, in which we can pay 1 green from our mana pool, exiling a target card from a graveyard. If it was a creature card, put a +1/+1 counter on Scavenging Ooze and gain 1 life. Of course, we can exile non-creatures as well to trim our opponent's library so they can't be recasting their Urls with Escape, etc., etc. 2 copies of Inscription of Abundance. This is instant speed, kicker for 3, so total for 5. Choose 1. If this spell was kicked, choose any number instead. So again, choosing any of them for 2, and we can choose them all for 5. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature. Target player gains X life, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control, and or target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. 4 copies of Luminarch Aspirant. This is a 1/1, and at the beginning of combat on your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. The deck doesn't rely upon the Aspirant, but it sure does help, especially when that +1/+1 counter becomes a +2/+2 counter, basically. Into our 3 drops, we have 2 copies of Conclave Apparition, a 2/2, and when Conclave Apparition enters the battlefield, exile up to 1 target non-land, non-token permanent you don't control with converted mana cost 4 or less. When Conclave Apparition leaves the battlefield, the exiled card's owner creates an XX blue illusion creature token where X is the converted mana cost of the exiled card. That's great. This is one of my favorite cards within the new set. Typically exiling creatures is great, but when you're exiling target non-permanents, you can go for their artifacts, their enchantments. Absolutely amazing stuff here with the Conclave Apparition, in my opinion. We have a Moldul face card up next, 2 copies of Khalni territory, pardon my pronunciation. This is, one of the MDFC lands, coming in tapped, adding a green to our pool, and on the opposing side for 3 at instant speed, target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. 4 copies of Oran Reef Ooze, a 2/2, and when Oran Reef Ooze enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It can be itself or another creature, and whenever Oran Reef attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on each attacking creature with a +1/+1 counter on it. So this is, again, one of the main engines within the deck. All of our creatures have +1/+1 counters. When we attack, they all get an additional +1/+1 counter. If the Mentor's on, we get 2 counters, and the Mentor's a stackable ability. So you see just how powerful this deck can become. Of course, we also have 3 copies of the Mythic Bolt land or Mythic MDFC or Moldul faced card entering the battlefield tapped unless we pay 3 life. And on the opposing side for 3 plus X, return to your graveyard from the battlefield any number of target creature cards that each have a different converted mana cost of X or less. Into our 4 drops, we have a single copy of Polkaranos Unchained, a 0/0 entering with 6 +1/+1 counters on it. It escapes with 12 +1/+1 counters on it. If damage would be dealt to Polkaranos while it has a +1/+1 counter on it, prevent that damage and remove that many counters from it. For 3, it will fight another target creature. We can escape it for 6, plus exiling 6 other cards from our graveyard. We have a single copy of Hagra Mauling, or Hagra Brood Pit. This comes in tapped, adding a black to our pool, and on the opposing side of the MDFC is an instant speed for 4. This spell costs 1 less to cast. If an opponent controls no basic lands, destroy target creature. In my opinion, not the greatest, but it's all right. We also have a single copy of Basri's Lieutenant, a 3/4 with Vigilance, protection from multicolor, and when Basri's Lieutenant enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. When Basri's Lieutenant or another creature you control dies, if it had a +1/+1 counter on it, create a 2/2 white knight creature token with Vigilance. So that's really cool because whenever our creatures with all the tokens on it die, we now get a 2/2, and maybe potentially we can put a counter on that as well. So good stuff there. Anywho, to bring this all together, we have Nethroi, Apex of Death. This is a 5/5 with Death Touch and Lifelink. Mutate for 7, so a little pricey on the mutate. However, it's pretty powerful. Whenever this creature mutates, return any number of target creature cards with total power 10 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield. That's a big majority of our graveyard. And, even if you just play it as a creature, Death Touch, Lifelink, 5/5, that's going to be some sustainability to keep you alive against some aggro decks if they can get through you. We've got 2 copies of the Great Henge talking about sustainability. This is 9 mana drop, but it costs X less to cast, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. We do have Polkaranos as 6/6. We've got all the tokens being put on creatures, so it's not uncommon to get them to 5 to 6 to 7, right? Decreasing the Great Henge to as low as 2. And of course, we can tap it to add 2 green to our mana pool, gaining 2 life. And whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under our control, put a +1/+1 counter on it and draw a card. Drawing the card is massive. Putting a +1/+1 counter is pretty groovy as well, especially if we have the Mentor. It becomes a +2/+2 counter, or 2 +1/+1 counters, whichever way. Of course, we also have the Mythic White MDFC or Bulk Land, Emeria's Call. Create 2 4/4 white angel warrior creature tokens with flying. Non-angel creatures you control gain indestructible until your next turn for 7. And on the opposing side, coming in tapped unless you take 3 damage, and it produces a white mana source. These spells are accompanied by 3 Fabled Passages, 4 Indatha Triomes, 4 Branchloft Pathways or Boulderloft Pathways, 4 Brightclimb Pathways or Grimclimb Pathways, 3 forests, a single swamp, and a single plains. We do have the sideboard incorporated today as we are playing traditional. This consists of 3 Gem Razors for 4. It's a 4/4 with Reach and Trample. Mutate for 3. Whenever this creature mutates, destroy target artifact or enchantment an opponent controls. Felidar Retreat for 4. An enchantment with landfall, and whenever a land enters the battlefield, choose 1. Create a 2/2 white beast cat creature token, or put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Those creatures gain vigilance until end of turn. Wow. Cub Warden. This is a 3/5 with lifelink for 4. Mutate for 4. Whenever this creature mutates, create 2 1/1 white cat creature tokens, also with lifelink. A single copy of Mythos of Nethroi. Instant speed for 3. Destroy target non-land permanent if it's a creature, or if Selesnya mana was spent to cast the spell. Of course, Selesnya mana is considered a green and white. 2 Archon of Emeria's. This is also for 3, flying, 2/3. Each player can't cast more than 1 spell each turn. Non-basic lands your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. 2 copies of Containment Priest, 2/2 with flash. Non-token creatures would enter the battlefield and they weren't cast. Exile them instead, which is quite groovy, and that costs 2. and of course 3 additional copies of the Bloodchief's Thirst, which we already talked about. So that is the deck list. That was the sideboard. Let's begin to break down the strategy and then some of the synergies that are going to help us accomplish our said goal. It's go wide. You know, the deck here is go super wide, get super big, and smash in. You know, there's very few pieces of removal, so use them, you know, caringly. Don't just cast them on anything. Only use them on things that directly affect you in a negative outcome that have to be dealt with, right? So, you know, let's begin opening hand. Maybe that is the best bet. You know that we want to go wide. You know that we want to stack +1/+1 counters and get strong and bash our opponent in, right? That's the main goal. So opening hand to get there. You know, as I was reading the deck list, you see me really light up when we came to some of these cards and be like, this is a main engine. That's what we want in the deck. You know, we've seen the Swarm Shambler. This is our best 1-drop. Obviously, having a hand where you can play a land, play a permanent immediately is ideal. So we want to, of course, ride the curve up. This isn't, you know, specific to this deck. This is just general, you know, tactics to play the game and be better at, is to always be utilizing your mana every turn. If we don't have instances to play on our opponent's turn, we want to be make sure to use our mana all on our turn, or mana dumps, whatever. So this is a great way to make sure that you're using your mana on your first turn. The Stormcoil Serpent can also be cast for 1, but priority states that the Swarm Shambler is better, in my opinion, just because of the passive effect. So if our opponent removes the Serpent, we don't get anything. If they remove the Shambler, we get a 1/1 insect, right? Therefore, it is more valuable. Early game, the Serpent does become more valuable late game, as it is the scaling cost and can be used as a 2-drop, 3-drop, 4-drop, whatever. So opening hand, I love to have the Swarm Shambler, right? That's our first card. Second card we love is the Conclave Mentor. This is basically a must-have if you want to pop with the deck. You know, it works without it, but if you get it going with the Mentor, GG. RIP. Next up, the Reef Ooze. So now we've got 3 permanents. We want 3 land. That's going to give us 1 extra card, right? So we have the Shambler, the Mentor, the Reef, 3 land, and now, you know, maybe it's a 4th land we get, or literally anything else we'll accept. If I had to pick, I'd go with the Aspirant, right? It just puts a little bit of fire in the engine. Basri's Lieutenant is also really good, potentially because it will protect the rest of the stuff as well. So that's the ideal draw hand. And you can kind of see how the opening game plan then folds out too, right? Where turn 1 we play the Shambler, turn 2 we play the Mentor, turn 3 we play the Ooze, turn 4, you know, we play Lieutenant, attack, GG's, RIPs, turn 5 we play the Great Henge. So that's ideal. We do have some things that we can use to our advantage, right? Because it doesn't always go off without a hitch. So there's things in here to deal with that. The Inscription can fight, right? If our opponent has blockers that are getting in the way of what we're trying to accomplish, you know, we can fight those blockers. We can also put counters on target creature. And of course, if we have the Mentor out, it puts 3 instead of 2. So that's nice. You know, we also have the Ambush. This is another fight effect that's really good. And then Pokranos also has a fight effect. And the Mauling has a destroy effect, and the Skyclave Apparition can exile. So there is a little bit of removal here for you guys. And of course, Nethroi does have Death Touch, but that probably won't come into effect for you. And then the single copy of Bloodchief's Thirst. A little bit of removal. There's not a lot, but there's enough to keep your attack lanes open and to keep you putting out damage consistently. And that's really the only thing you need. You don't have to remove their entire board. You just have to keep the turns in your favor and keep them with their back against the wall. We've got really late game shenanigans here as well, because, you know, it is an aggro deck, but it might take 5 turns. It kind of consists and turns into a mid-range deck at a certain point, I should say. And I know that they're all light early drops, but they start to add up in the mid game. It's not enough to win in the aggro, so you have to just think of it as a, you know, like that slingshot ability where you pull back for the mid game. And this is really accomplished, again, by the 3 drops that are really powerful, like the Ooze, and I know aggro drops 3 drops that are powerful as well. But we get into the Henge. Now, you have to use that early game to play a Henge, and that transfers you into the mid game. So even if you do get wiped, you can play a creature, you know, and you can start the engine all over again, where you play a creature, draw, you know, and keep that cycle going, hopefully. And then we also have the late game call 2/4/4 angels should be able to help you close the game out. You know, if you weren't able to do 12 damage before, what were you doing? And of course, we can use our awakening as well. So if we do get wiped, we can grab from our graveyard and flood the field again with some high value permanents, which is really cool. And of course, again, we take our highest priority cards with that, like our Shambler, like our Mentor, and our Reef Ooze. That's really it. I mean, once you do get a couple creatures out, try to play your Lieutenant, because it will create the 2/2s if you do get wiped. So that's really nice. And then you still have attack capabilities. Use your Ooze to deal with the Uros, stuff like that. Keep your attack lanes open. Dump your excess mana into your Shambler every turn. Like, keep it to defend, and then if they don't attack, you can spend the mana and tap it right before your turn starts again. And yeah, that's it. Again, this is a very powerful deck, reaching Mythic rank number 15 by Countino Brewer, and I myself had a 100% win rate with it in Diamond, just crushing people, and I'm really looking forward to playing this deck more. As far as the sideboard guide goes, you know, take out what was bad and put in what was good. I say this every time, but that's just the premise to sideboarding. A lot of people make it out to be more than it is, right? So, did we need removal? Did we not need removal? Those are the two questions I'm always asking. If you needed removal, put it in. If you didn't need removal, take it out. And then we just balance accordingly. So obviously, if our opponents had removal on us, I don't like the Apparition because it could be removed. They get value from that. If they don't have removal that we need to be doing on them, then the Bloodchief can go, the Mauling can go, the Ambush can go. You know, maybe Pokranos can even go if he has no targets to fight. Stuff like this. So what had no value in our game, and then what did have value in our game, right? Were there enchantments to destroy for Gemrazor? Did we really want to focus on, you know, continuing to flood the field mid-game with 2/2s? Was there Shatter the Skies? Shatter won't hit the retreat, and then we can play land every turn after and still create the 2/2s that they're going to have to keep up with. Was it an aggro deck? Did we need some life gain, right? Maybe a little bit more removal. Again, an aggro deck playing multiple spells per turn. Do we need to shut that down? Were they flooding the field and not casting spells? Right? More removal. So just take out what was bad, put in what was good. You know, it is really hard to do in-depth sideboard guides that would basically take like an hour and a half to break down each individual match, and you take 3 of these out, you put 2 of these in. So just get good at doing it on the fly. It's going to be a skill you develop, just like mulligans, you know, finding the correct hand. And you do learn this by engaging within your own deck and within the meta, and you just kind of get like this internal temperature and feel for it, right? So thanks for watching, you guys. That's it. I really appreciate it. We're going to get into today's gameplay footage here, but before we do, I have to remind you that I'm live on YouTube every morning at 6 a.m. at 7 to 7:30. We switch to Twitch for 5 to 8 hours, and then we're back on YouTube at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard. Don't do the conversions. The link's in the description below. Just go ahead, subscribe, hit the notifications, and we will see you every day. As far as this video goes, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share to a friend, hit that bell icon, and all that jazz. We are going to go 100% win rate here with Abzan counters, so you get to see exactly how the deck's meant to be played in the new meta within some of the highest ranks in Magic the Gathering arena. So enjoy. Make sure to watch to the end because we have some very exciting news to wrap up today, and we will see you in a few minutes. Alrighty, Abzan counters with 1 land. Keeping this looks a lot better. Let's toss our call for now. Shambler in play. Birth of Maltese gives us a free turn. We pull our 2-drop, which is great. Hit for 1. Oh no, Helioids are gross. Helioids are gross. And our turn, we'll throw a token on our Shambler. This thing can now apparently defend, LOL. Right? Banishing Light. It's our Shambler. Wow. We might get it back, so let's put the token on it. Does it come back with the tokens? No, I don't think so. Take his birth, why not? I don't know why. May as well. We have to keep that devotion down is the thing. We're gonna try to pull some more of the exiles before we play our Pulkranos. No attacks. We can crack our land. We don't really rely on landfall at all. We attack, go up to 4. They grab some life. Plus they get to go to 2/6. Interesting. Tactics. Elite strategies. Hopefully no banishing light on El Pulcrano. Bastard. We can't take the token, which is a bummer. This is upsetting to me. What if there's more exile? We could just take our Pulkranos back. I always thought that was a creature. I didn't realize it was not that permanent. That's actually pretty groovy. We can chomp out this defender, even if it gains life. Oh! Wow. I did not see that coming. Wow. Can we avoid more exile? Yes. That's actually super, super helpful. They all get buffed up. Right? There's more shenanigans in hand. What's going on? What you got planned, Willis? Just the life gain? That is quite a formidable defender at this point. But the thing is, it can only block one at a time. And it can't attack. Keeping the Serpent in hand in case there's a shatter, I guess. We want to really keep a lot of creatures in hand in case that happens. Oh, wow. Nice. We may as well just snag the graveyard. No reasoning, but why not? Well, that works. Oh, we don't have the second swamp. Are you joshing me? We'll get the 2/2 back with Vigilance. And we can also fight with Pulchranos, instant speed. That's fine. There's not enough in our graveyard to bring it back. They have 4 cards in hand. Yikes. Just drawn, man. Wander's Enclave is sick. They're down to 5. This should be lethal, question mark. We take the life gain away? No, they can use it first if we do that. Let's take our Shambler, and then if they target any of our stuff again, we should get that insect now, right? They gain a bunch of life here. But they have to block the 7/7. They can't block the Skyclave Apparition. Yep. We still hit for 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So that's just lethal. Good game. Let's take it to the sideboard, and we're looking to beat this mono-white prison deck, I guess. Well, Gem Razor, yep, right? They're gonna wipe our field. So because they're gonna wipe the field, we take landfall enchantments. I think the inscription can go down. Henge is good. Well, Kranos was actually annoying for them as well. It was mono white, so the Serpent's good with Gem Razor though still. Ooze didn't really have much to do there. Let's drop the Ooze. And we'll pretend that that's justifiable. The Ooze is a great creature, but there's actually nothing for it to deal with. We have our Gem Razor. We have a Shambler. Yikes is the... Oh, man. Let's just start slow so we don't mess up. Oh, no. Just chilling. Well, there goes Smashing Daxos. Dude. I don't think it really matters what we pull. Just because of the Triome. Oh, converted mana cost. Nice, so we can nuke it. Which is our first order of business here, actually. Cleric in play. Let's push on ourselves. That way, if either of us get targeted, we get to make that insect. Now another Daxos. Is that the third Daxos? No, they just drew it or something. Some jazz. Indestructible, can't destroy it. We can destroy Daxos, though. This might be controversial. They could give it indestructible. They have that capability. We've seen that last game. Kind of annoying. We can still get a few damage through. Or we can defend. Let's defend. We'll play our henge and our retreat. Everything should be okay. We can add a counter to our Gem Razor here. Play the henge. I think it's higher value than the retreats, even though we could play the land. And we're gonna keep the passage in hand. Forcing mono white to defend feels pretty good, right? Oh, nice. We do have reach though, so that's beneficial. Indestructible enters battlefield, which we can block. Let's take the damage. I'm not gonna lose our Gem Razor. Oh, we could have put a thing on them as well. My bad. Let's get the retreat in play. Play the land. We want vigilance? Okay, that's that. Cool beans. Typically, I wouldn't keep this hand. It's very slow, but now this is a big old but. We get the chance to draw land, I hope. We do. We do. Let's still play slow. I mean, there's a good chance we don't draw a fourth land. We should be taking planes here. Oh my gosh. We have to hold the Triome, I guess. We have to keep an eye on extinction. Oh no. Or that. Okay, so we'll play our Triome and just kind of repeat. Hopefully we can just mutate and take some stuff back from the grave, right? Never mind. There's no way they don't take, you know, our Apex. They don't, they take the Reef. Interesting. Hit for 2. 4 in play. We have 4 land. We go to 5. We need 7 to mutate. That's a little bit. That's a little bit. Oh, goodness gracious. All right, another 4/4. Let's. We're all evens. We're set up for an extinction event in a big way. If there's no extinction event, it's a little bit friendlier. This is odd. We could play. Oh wow, we get the turn though. Are we ever going to get 7 with a creature in play? This is 6. It's a big hit. Down to 4. Let's play it. If they wipe us, oh my gosh. They get the scry. A second Shark Typhoon on the first, so they just get the 6/6 sharks. A good thing we played it. We don't draw the land. Definitely a good thing we played it. Clutch call. Alright, we've got enchantments. Got a lot of removal. A lot of removal. Which makes me like the retreat a little bit. Let's get rid of our apparition because they have so much removal. They're casting on our turn, so we don't want the Archon. I do want a few Gem Razors though. There's an Uro to worry about in there somewhere as well, so the Ooze stays. I think the Inscription can go. That worked out for us in the first game. There's nothing to be fighting. Is there any fight effects we need out of here? Just that land. But we may as well leave it. This kills anything for us. Those sharks. We didn't see much from them. Yep, I think we'll be okay. Winning first game definitely helps us here in the second. We'll keep it, we'll play slow. We can Serpent for 2, Reef for 3, Lieutenant for 4. Basri's Lieutenant will be really nice. Again, though, Extinction Event's the Exile, not Destroy, so oof. Alright. Who's in play, counter on itself. Oof. Oof. Ayo. Eliminado. They are down to 4 cards. And we have the Great Henge. Trying to pull any more removal they have. Ooh. Protection from multicolor helps a little bit. Potentially. Let's try to pull a counter. Yup. We have Vigilance. So let's smash. Down to 3 in hand. More counter spells, I bet. Pull a counter spell. I don't want to lose the henge. Yeah. You just know, right? We could play Pull Kranos from the grave is why I, kind of sacrifice it like that. Of course, we do need more cards in our grave. We already have 4, actually. We only need 3 more. Oh, no. That's real good. This is going to be hard to survive. Oh, nice. I mean, that 2/2's not really defending. Yikes, they're gonna be drawing cards. That's so bad for us. No blocks here. We both have Vigilance. Mentor in play first. Doubles down on the counters because of the henge. I mean, we're making a run for it. That's for sure. Right, we're drawing. We're doubling down on these counters, which is real nice. Oof, right? Let's push this guy up to 4. And then the ooze gets it organically. Right, we're going big here. I'll double block, I'm not scared. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We are going to use our Emera's Call, I think, because we got land from the Jazz. We're trading here too. Woof. That was a good turn. I liked that. Conclave Mentor plus the Great Henge. There's the event. We're all evens, aren't we? No, we got a nod. That's cool. It's nice to have a nod. Oh, we don't have 1, 2. We need a third. We have to play our Triumph first. That sucks. Or draw planes. Is that planes? Oh. Make some angels casually. Hit for 5. It's too bad the angels didn't trigger the Great Henge. I mean, as their tokens, right? Shark Typhoon in play. Gem Razor off the top for us. We hit for so much damage here. Let's try to get some cool draws. Push our tokens up. Nice. That would be interesting. We have a few things we could bring back. For 3, 1, 2. Oh, we don't have the land. Unless this is a swamp, it is. So, we have 2. We wouldn't be able to bring anything back, actually. We do get to push everybody up a bunch. And, good game. Alrighty. This looks real good. Can we get away with not playing the Triumph first? No. Let's just get it out of the way. Watch us pull another untapped land. Their own ooze. Let's ooze for ooze. Interesting. Trail of Crumbs, what? Interesting. We're gonna match damage? We may as well, right? We could have played defensively, but I think we should go for it. What if there's a petty theft? Oh, they're just drawing. Wicked Wolf incoming? Wicked Wolf isn't in standard. Oh no, that's Throne of Eldraine. It is. It is, boys. Oof. Alright, alright. So if there's a Wicked Wolf fight, we at least make the Vigilance. Is that what it could be? What's going on here? Secret Keeper. Okay, Adventure Food? Question mark? Gem Razor. Okay, we don't have any enchantments or artifacts. That's really good. Let's get our Shambler out. And our Aspirant. We may as well play our land as well. pushing planes. If we make angels, there's nothing really to take. Go to combat. We want to put this on ourselves. I know that's weird, but... And now no attacks, and turn. We can pull Granos and then... Oh, there is the Wicked Wolf. We called it. And that's gonna come back as a 2/2 because it has the token on it. Or the counter, I should call it. Whatever. Let's push up to 5. Do we attack here? Yeah, we can use our awakening maybe. We still replace ourselves. We get a lot of damage in. We can ooze before they get mana. Let's end our turn. Emeria has nothing to pull. Okay. Cool, 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 cool. We should just probably fight. Right? Take the wolf while there's no food. Nice. Alright. Sideboarding against whatever this is. There's a lot of big boys in there. Let's take our own Gem Razor. Let's toss our Aberration because they have a fight effect. And let's drop our Thirst. I like the... They don't have any wipes, so I really like the Club Warden or Cub Warden. Let's take that and let's drop the Fight land. Let's keep one of them and drop the big old Mutate baby. I like the idea of it, but let's try to play this really smart. Go 3-0. They must have not got the draw hand. Damn, boy. And those are one of the perks to playing traditional, right? Some people, they play that long first match and they're like, well, I gotta go. Like, just this wasn't a good hand, I'm out. Anyways, no big deal. We got lucky on that last match, I guess. We would have beat them, though. We had a very nice hand. We were ready to do some smashing with Abzan counters. This deck's really cool. I enjoyed it. What do you guys think could change with the deck? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for your time and attention. I really appreciate it. If you want to support the channel financially, you can do so Twitch, Patreon, YouTube, and the new Amazon link. Of course, links for everything is in the description below. The Amazon link is in the comments. And yeah, I'd really appreciate that. That'd be awesome. We are struggling to make ends meet, but we are so close to being able to do so. So I really appreciate all of you who've been able to step up and support me financially, and those of you who haven't been, who've just been spending their continual time and attention here with us as well. That's amazing. And a big shout out to the shirt lord, Mr. D, who bought us the Force and Swamp shirts. That's absolutely awesome. They're XLs. We normally only wear larges, so they're a little big, but nonetheless, we'll still wear them. They're still cool. It gives us a reason to fill out, right? We got to hit the gym now. So thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to watch another Magic the Gathering Arena video of mine, and we'll see you soon.